Okay, so I want to apologize first because this is not scripted. So it's going to be a little more rambling than usual. I do apologize. But I have some personal circumstances where I don't really have time to do something properly or as thoroughly as I would usually do it. So this is what you're going to get this week. Again, my apologies. It's not that I'm lazy. I am lazy, but that's not the reason this time. So I did install OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, which is the version of OpenSUSE that is a rolling release. Now, I had used OpenSUSE before, fairly briefly for a month or so. I guess a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember. It was a little while ago. So this is a much more up-to-date version of OpenSUSE, and I'm kind of liking it so far. It does come with audiovisual codecs already installed, as far as I remember. I just installed it yesterday, so bear with me. I haven't really went through everything yet. I've used it last night and this morning again. Yeah, I'm liking it so far. It really seems to be quite polished. And it is using Wayland, which I have not had a great experience with before. But they seem to have gotten themselves together a little bit. It's actually using, it's got a 6.7.9 kernel. It's using GNOME 46, which is the recently released version of GNOME. So it is using the current, true to its rolling nature. It is using the current version of GNOME. And as you can see there down, it's using the Wayland session manager there. So, and it seems to be working pretty well. I am able to record, obviously, on it, which was something that was really funky with Wayland before. I guess Wayland handles that kind of stuff way differently than X11, so it doesn't, all the screen recorders that worked in the past will work with this, so, but I did find one that did. So as I said, Wayland is OpenSUSE is the rolling release version. Tumbleweed is the open release version of OpenSUSE. It's continuously updated. It's supposedly stable, and indeed it seems to be stable as far as I've used it. I haven't noticed any overt weirdness. As I mentioned, I've had some experience with Wayland before, and it always seemed to me like you could kind of see the joins, so to speak. It wasn't quite as, together as X11, which is understandable. It's a newer technology, but even so, you'd think everybody seems to be running to it, so you'd think it would be better than it maybe was 6 months ago. And it does seem to be getting better. It seems to be quite stable so far. So all my hardware was detected, as only one would expect. It seems to be quite quick, actually, quite responsive, OpenSUSE. So I'm happy with that so far. I've had a couple of updates already put on there. It is using, as I said, GNOME 46, the Kathmandu version, which seems pretty much to me like GNOME 45, as best I can tell. But there are some minor issues, minor updates, I guess. The Nautilus file manager is supposedly a bit better, global search is better, that kind of thing. That's what it's telling me here. I haven't noticed any issues. Seems to be fine. The one thing I kind of have an issue with, not an issue with, but on OpenSUSE, and I know to remember this from when I tried it before, not the rolling release version, but the regular OpenSUSE, was the YAST tool, which is a sort of combined software and hardware configuration tool. I never quite got to terms with that for some reason. It's not that it's particularly complicated. For some reason, it didn't click with me. And kind of looked at it briefly this morning after I had, set up a few things using Software Center and just using the command line. It still seems a little odd to me. I don't know quite what that is, but I'm not entirely comfortable with Yast, so I don't know how much I'll actually be using it. It seems, it's nice and it gives you a quick view of hardware and so on, but yeah, I haven't really done too much with that. So all I've done really since I got this is, install the software that I normally use. And I did install some extensions for GNOME because I do not like the default GNOME installation. I kind of like the idea of GNOME, the way it works. I quite like it. I've gotten to like it more over the years, but there are some things that just seem stupid to me, like the not having the maximize button and so on the Windows by default, which just seems weird. So I did install the GNOME extensions. I tend to call it GNOME, but I go back and forth between GNOME and GNOME, so bear with me. I did install the GNOME extensions, and I did the dash to dock, which I like, which puts the dock down here. I've got it hidden right now, or to auto hide, so if you open up something, it'll go away. But I like that better than the default version. Also, OpenSUSE Tumbleweed does apparently come with GNOME tweaks already in place, which is nice. So if you go into utilities, it does have the tweaks, so you can do the thing where you add the window buttons there for maximize and so on, which I quickly did because I find that extremely annoying and weird. The only other things I've really done so far as other than installing the software, is I did do some stuff with privacy, which I like to do. I just turned off, let's see what I did here. The file history and so on, I don't like that hanging around too much. I just usually do a day, and then maybe a couple of days for temporary files and trash, just in case I accidentally delete something. But the defaults, I think, are like 30 days or never, always keep the files and stuff. I don't like to do that. That just, for some reason, that makes me nervous. Not that I'm doing anything that I shouldn't be doing, but it's just, I don't like stuff hanging around. So that's the only other major thing I did. But other than that, I'm quite impressed. It seems nice. It seems responsive. It's quite snappy, opening up things and going into, dialogues and so on. So I'm going to hang on to this for a while. I'll let you know how it works, but so far, color me impressed. I haven't done too much with it yet. Like I said, I've had it about 24 hours, but OpenSUSE Tumbleweed is pretty good.